Let's talk keeping you safe when you off-road. So everything you need to know about the tech, what you should do in regards to tires, what tires are good for what, when, and let's talk about miles per gallon. So let's put the pedal to the metal and get started. Okay, so this is the type of snow actually I'm not all that fond of. It's ranging between 3 to 8 inches deep, but it's very sticky. So it's actually filling up those Nokian tires and making it so that I will be getting pulled left and right, a little bit all along this thin trail. Actually, I would have preferred the BF Goodrich KO2s with the big thick knobs. That gives you a lot of space to throw out the snow. But these are getting filled up pretty quickly.
Yeah, the snow's pretty deep. But where can I turn around? That's the question. Where can I turn around? Definitely don't want to fall off the trail here.
Maybe at the end you'll have a place to turn.
So we're currently in some pretty deep snow. We've put it in sand mode, which I think works fine for deep snow. We've also put it in 4L, so we've got every advantage. Everything's on our side because we are definitely trying to get through. Got turned around in that deep wet snow. Stick it to 4 low, drive slow, get the maximum traction. Also, driving slow in this condition can be good because we remove the chance of sliding off the small thin trail here, because if we slide off, well, then we'll be stuck and we'll need to get that winch out. We don't have an electric winch. We'll have to hand crank it. Whew. But we'll get up this hill. Now I'm definitely using that 360 camera. I'm in sand mode, and I've got that 12-inch touchscreen giving me the camera front view so I can make sure I stay in the tracks here to not drive off this trail, because this trail is made for an ATV. This is 4-wheeler wide, and the Bronco's just fitting on it. It gets a little wider in some spots, but it gets awfully thin in others. Some spots we've got the outer wheels on really the outer edges, outer left and right edge, so if we slide off left or right, we go right off. Oh, now we're back to the wider section, so stress is definitely lower now. Doing between 10 to 20 miles per hour here.
And if you want to avoid overheating, you will not want to go any faster than 20 miles per hour.
Oh, Mary-Pierre, how did you like going on an abandoned 4-wheeler trail?
It was fun, but I was a little bit stressed at one time. It's a good chance that we have the mud for the mud, the mud mode. Because sometimes I was thinking maybe we'll need to go outside the car because we're stuck.
And how did you find the creepy cottages?
Yeah, that was creepy house, so I didn't want us to get stuck there. For sure. It was stressful just because of the house.
Yeah, there's a creepy doll waving at us in the window.
Yeah, creepy doll in the window. I guess these people, looks like nobody lives there for now, so they put a creepy doll to afraid people to go there when they're not there.
Winston, how do you like off-roading with the Bronco? You like that? You like off-roading with the Bronco?
It's fun on the road, but it's a little bit shaky when we are off-roading, huh, Winston?
Now I'll just show you here. Stop joking around, and I'll show you pass the camera to Marie-Pierre. Show you that 360 camera. I really wanted that front camera for doing exactly this, because it's so much easier to stay in the tracks that we made, because before it was just a 4-wheeler track here. 4-wheeler track, oddly, that if we would have kept going, we'd have crossed into the US, and clearly based on these tracks, the 4-wheeler that was here before us did cross into the US, but we won't be doing that for sure. But it's a pretty cool mode. The 4L is just amazing for getting us through everything and anything. You don't want to go fast in this mode, that's for sure. But, you know, it's basically you keep it under 20 miles per hour, but it'll crawl through everything. So 4 low is a crawl mode. It's instant power to all 4 wheels, whereas if you're in 4 automatic, the goal of 4 automatic, the vehicle is trying to save you fuel. So if it doesn't need to be in 4x4 mode, it's just going to turn the back wheels. And that actually creates a hesitation. It creates a pause. It can create wheels not having power go to them. And it can create wheels spinning. Whereas in this 4 low mode, I love it because all 4 tires are just digging away. Fantastic. It takes away all the hard work, all the stress. And then 4 high, well, 4 high, it's just your O's in 4x4 mode. And it's, you know, kind of many of the advantages of 4 low, except in 4 high, you can just leave it there all the time, except for on dry pavement. And we're going to be going over towards some really rough dry pavement in a few kilometers. So I won't put it in 4 high. I really love the intelligent 4x4. That's why both my Badlands and Sasquatch Outer Banks, I should say Marie-Pierre's Badlands, she did name it Bacon Bits, it's her Bronco, but this is why I went with these 2 models. I didn't want the base 4x4 that only comes with 2H, 2 high, 4H, 4 high, and 4 low. I really wanted that 4 automatic, but as you can see from this camera, this is pretty cool, very helpful, and helps get us out into nature. I'll have to come back here with the four-wheeler because we would have liked to have gone all the way to the top of the mountain. And instead we only got to drive around the side of the mountain. Had to stop before we, you know, had we gone, you know, maybe a few hundred, not even a mile more, we would have gone into the States. So that really wasn't our intention, obviously. So we didn't do that. We'll have to come back with the 4-wheeler to go up the mountain and stay on the Canadian side. That's what the 4-wheeler is for. It's for getting us to off-road places that the Bronco can't or can, but just so much safer. I'd much prefer to roll that 4-wheeler. I have no problems rolling it. It won't make me cry, whereas if I roll the Bronco, I'll be crying for a while. Now, this crap here, this road is called on-road crapping, and can't really call it off-road, but you can definitely call it a pretty crappy on-road road. And this is why I wrapped the vehicle. It's not just about sand and rocks and salt chunks on the main roads, but I also wrapped the bottom of the vehicle, the hood, and very important, the grille, because I don't, as you can hear possibly, there's just rocks kicking underneath the vehicle. So in 4 low mode, as soon as you go over 20 miles per hour, you'll hear the RPM's being high, and that's what you want to avoid. So stop it, and I'll put it in 4 automatic, and the computing system will know to be in 4x4 mode. The power distribution will be to all 4 wheels, and we will stay on trail no matter what speed we're going. Now, I'm currently in sand mode, so I can't put it in 4A. I can put it in 4H because 4H, the reason for that is Ford knows very well that 4H is more capable off-road in sand or snow, basically loose material. It's far more effective, it's more instantaneous, the power distribution, than 4A. Because like I mentioned earlier, 4A is always trying, its goal is to save gas and not have all 4 wheels turn if it doesn't need to do so. So I'll drive in 4A on this pretty bad road, and I will actually keep it in loose material mode, sand mode, because this is actually quite loose and likes pulling me left or right anytime this road happens to turn to mud, on and off again. Fantastic on the bumps, washboard roads, this thing goes through everything. Oh, and that's nice, bullet holes in the stop sign. Why not? So I'm now going to go in slippery mode because we won't be in anywhere near as the mud and gravel and snow won't be loose. If anything, there might be a little snow on some of these roads. Now, when you come off rock-covered roads, a good idea to protect your paint is drive slow at first. Let those rocks kick off at a lower speed. because the faster those rocks kick up against your underbody and paint, the more likely they're just going to rip the paint to shreds. So if you don't want to shred, if you don't want to be shredding away your paint, come off the dirt road, give a little bit of time for the little rocks to kick out of the tires. These Nokian tires, by the way, are really good at dispelling the rocks. And my BF Goodrich KO2s have also been very good at not retaining the rocks for too long. Not quite as good as the Nokians and the original Sasquatch tires. I'm not the only one. You know, you've got David over at All Terrain Nation. He mentioned how those standard Sasquatch tires do like to hold onto the rocks and then kick them out pretty hard later on. So a little trick to help you out. So I've mentioned it before, wrap your rear camera. Otherwise your lens will get sandblasted. All that mud, dirt, rocks, and sand that I've been kick up on the back of the vehicle. So one, I can't see anything. So go old fashioned and use the mirrors. Well, I know how to do that because, well, I didn't have backup cameras when I was learning how to drive. But you really got to wrap that. Otherwise your lens is going to get so scratched up you won't see anything anymore, even when it is clean. So that's a little pro tip right there. Hope it helps. Faster, faster. What's that, Winston? You want me to go faster? Okay. You say so. If we get sucked into one of these mud ruts and pulled off the road, I'm blaming you, Winston. Oh, did you hear that rock? Oh,
it hurts.
Yeah, that sounded like it didn't hit the wrap. That sounded like I needed a full door wrap on that one. Winston, that rock chip's yours. You're responsible. You're the one that wanted to go faster. It's your fault. Yeah, that's your rock chip. We're gonna name it Winston Jr. Whoa, okay, yep, there we go. Whoa!
Wow.
Okay, yeah, the road can definitely pull us.
Are you scared?
No. I love crashing Broncos.
Yeah.
Okay, so we had our little day of off-roading, had some surprises, thought we'd get to go to the top of the mountain, and instead had to worry about the border police showing up. So we were pretty close to the border, but we made sure not to cross over. Thankfully, we had the GPS. Now, I'd say this is the best color for a Bronco. Just keep in mind something that people have asked about, so I'll answer right now. The top, when you pressure wash it, the mud's gonna come right off. Ford put some sort of repellent on the soft top so that the mud doesn't just soak in. Now, that was different than my Mustang GT. That convertible, the top would always seem to stay dirty. And mind you, it was a few years old, so we'll see how the repellent that they put on this top stands up. But I have noticed on Bacon Bits, the blue Badlands, every time I pressure wash the mud off, it's come off super easy. Do keep in mind, if you have a soft top, you're going to see next to nothing out that back window. You will see people's lights, but when it's this muddy, that's about all you see is a little bit of light coming from the back. You could call it extra tinting, but do keep in mind that back camera, its lens is going to get completely sandblasted and ruined if you don't put a little wrap on it. So big tip of the day, we did notice driving today that the Outer Banks high package, the sound deadening is really good in it. We didn't find the roof loud, and actually I have a friend who has had for the last 28,000 miles, he had a Jeep, and with his Jeep he had the Gladiator with the hard either plastic or fiberglass top, and he finds that this soft top makes a lot less noise. I did test drive that, so I've got a video coming out on that review coming up, and I do find this quieter, but it's also quieter than your base soft top, and I'm not sure if that's just the engine and if they really have added extra padding. The top does feel heavier, but if any of the experts out there want to comment in and let us know for sure, I'm going to do some extra research, but I definitely feel that the top feels heavier, and pressing on it, it does seem to have a little extra padding inside between the two layers. It doesn't seem to just be one layer thick the way that the Badlands is. Now, best color, love these mags, but keep talking about the best color for a Bronco being, you know, mud. I must say something that we made sure to do, you know, mentioned it a few times, but beyond the wrap on the bottom of the vehicle, we also did a ceramic detailer. That way, all I have to do is pressure wash this off, and it's going to be, you know, it's going to get cleaned to about 98%, because throughout the winter and throughout, you know, when it's this muddy, I don't actually want to wash it with a mitt. I want to have a contactless wash. So with having put on the ceramic detailer, I'm just going to pressure wash this, and it's just going to come right off and look like new. So I hope those tips have been helpful, and I hope you've enjoyed off-roading with us. Off-roading and doing some pretty bad on-roading, you know, crap on road. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Until next time, I wish you all more cars and more power. And how did you find off-roading and crap on-roading today?
Yeah, it was fun. It's great to see that we covered it in mud, so it looks like we really worked hard on with it. But it was surprising that it was on the road that we almost pulled off the road. So yeah, and in the off-road, it was nice to have that technology to keep us on the track. So
yeah, the worst, where we almost crashed was actually on road, but the on road, well, welcome to Quebec. On road gravel roads can be filled with mud, and the mud almost pulled us off road into the ditch, got us a little left right swerving. But we also did a bit of that with the off road trail. We almost got pulled off the trail, but thankfully we didn't have to take the hand crank out, because we don't have an electronic winch, because that's $3,500 that we can't afford to spend.
Yeah, I was hoping we didn't have trouble and needed to push the car or something like that, because we were far from home and nobody could help us easily there. So
no, that's right. We almost went into the United States, where another scary moment was worrying that Border Patrol would show up and say, hey, you've crossed into the United States. But we stopped just
before we check on the map, and
yeah, our phones were saying it was the States, but we were still about a half mile from the border, thankfully. But our phones definitely warned us. Yeah. So that was a fun day.
Yeah, it was fun.
Dude,
I really love to see all the mud on the car. So yeah, it's fun.
Open doors when it's covered in mud without scratching it. Well, you just got to make sure you touch only the inside handle. So how much do we love our 2.7 liter Broncos? This much. We love the 330 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque, available at 3,000 RPM. It takes us where we want to go. It lets us have a ton of fun. The Nokian tires are great on-road tires. They're great winter on-road tires. They weren't the best off-road tires because they filled up with snow quickly. I would have preferred the BF Goodrich KO2s. But let's get home and wash these beasts up. So you can see there are some things that are clean in the garage and some things that are absolutely filthy. There's the four-wheeler that I crashed into a bit of a stream and have been nursing my back to health since. So let's give these a full rub down. Now we have done ceramic detailers on both vehicles, so that all you have to do is quickly, throw the soap down, wait a few minutes while the soap kind of, eats into everything, and then rinse it off. When you get muddy and dirty like this, you do not want to be doing a contact wash. You do not want to be putting the mitt to it, because no matter how well you think you've rinsed the vehicle off, it's still going to be dirty. So ideally, actually wash it a couple times. I'd say do this process over 2-3 times before you even take a mitt to it. And if you can handle it, if you're not going to a car show, don't throw the mitt on it whatsoever, because that's just going to scratch up your clear coat. And for off-roading this roughly 52 to 5,400 pound beast, we would have been fine with a 2.3 liter engine. But like I said, we love our 2.7 liter almost as much as we love Winston, if that's even possible. So besides the rough $2,000 difference between the 2.3 liter, what is the difference for fuel economy? Well, with a 28 mile per hour average for the last 247 miles, we got 15.1 miles per gallon and 17.2 miles per gallon on our roughly 74 mile trip. Now the Badlands here has a 15.6 mile per gallon average, and that's not because the Badlands is less fuel efficient with the BF Goodrich KO2s. It's because it does almost only city driving, and we're pretty rough with it. We like to put the pedal to the metal here. And it's done some off-roading, part of that mileage. So that's just the way it is. whether you go Sasquatch or Badlands, in conclusion, there's not going to be a huge difference in fuel economy. I'd say go with what you love. However, if you do want fuel economy, jump on the 2.3 liter. You should get about 18.1 miles per gallon with a 2.3 liter, but you are going to have 110 roughly pound-feet of torque less. So if you like power, definitely jump all over the 2.7 liter engine because it does not cost very much. And if you're going to go with an automatic, then you might as well obviously get the Outer Banks because it comes with the automatic. Now, if you want more buyer's advice like that, just check out our build and price videos. But I do want to point out what we did today. We would have been more than a-okay with a 2.3 liter manual or automatic. And actually the best crawl ratio does come out of a 2.3 liter Sasquatch. So we would have been more than perfectly fine with the 2.3 liter, but we do like acceleration, we do like a bit of noise, and you know what, the 2.7 liter, even without changing out the exhaust, has a pretty nice engine noise. We're liking it quite a bit. Now, we're sorry that we couldn't take you to the top of the mountain. That's gonna have to wait till spring because we encountered this gate. So unfortunately, that's just the way it is. We wish you all more cars and more power. Hope you get your Bronco soon if you don't already have it, and do hope that you hit that like button and subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of our videos like the one we published when we actually did a little bit more aggressive off-roading in a sand pit. So we hope that you'll join the community, throw in some great comments to help everyone out. We look for everyone's expertise here on the channel, and we do really appreciate that comment section. So thank you so much, everybody. And by the way, this was just an example right here of how 4 automatic can get you stuck because it does hesitate. And we got up that when we put it in 4 low with no issues at all. So that's a nice little exterior view of what it looks like between 4L and 4A. Take care, y'all. Until the next video, stay safe.